I'm really pleased that you all came here today. And I'm also very happy that Joelle was able to join us. And we planned this meeting with a basic pets kind of teaching and learning information because it was so quick, done so quickly. Our next meeting, I did send a doodle poll for. We can decide on a good time for that. And I'd really like to, hopefully Joelle will be able to join us at one of those meetings where he can give us his address, talk about the theme, kind of the things that would have happened at the opening session of pets, but we didn't want to waste any time getting started. So we're going to start today with a basic pets presentation. And I would like to open it up to Joelle, District Governor-elect for our District 7790, if you would like to say some words.
Yes. For beginning, I just want to thank you, Karina, and her team to get around so fast to do something with you this morning. I think it was important to do something before the year start, and faster we do it, better it is. So thank you for that, for Doug, Scott, and Robin to get that together with Karina. I'm pretty happy. We're gonna go through with your agenda. Like you said, on the next meeting, I will do my address with the goals and the view of RI on that, and talking about what expecting from AGs for your clubs, and talking about my visits. We're gonna have plan A, B, and C going on because we got issues at home. The health of my wife is depending on my visit. So we gonna maybe switch on that. So I'm looking to do a different option. But you're gonna receive from Susan. Yesterday I gave her all the folders with your president booklet and my agenda for the visit and citation. Everything is inside of it. So you're gonna receive it. But the agenda is maybe it's gonna change a little bit. So I'm looking a way to figure it out with that. If you have any question after that, you can email me. You're gonna have my business card inside of those pocket. So if you need to contact me, just send me a quick email. I will respond as quick as possible. Thank you. And thank you to be there on that Sunday morning.
Thank you, Joelle. I'm glad you could join us today. And I'm really happy that all of you can join us as well. I know, you know, it's difficult at best for everyone to deal with what's going on. I'm really pleased at people's reactions and the fact that we are taking these steps to flatten the curve and to try to, to contain this as best as we can. So I really appreciate all of your efforts in your clubs and the fact that you're here today. This isn't going to be nearly as interactive as being in person, and I do apologize for that. I also wanted to limit the amount of time we're spending on the screen, because 2 hours is a lot, and doing more than that, I don't think people are really going to be able to really get the most out of the training. So I'm going to get started. You all have the agenda. I'd like to introduce you to our training team. Joelle already pointed them out. On the main side, our training team consists of Robin. You want to say hi, Robin? Yeah? No, you're muted. There you go.
Not anymore. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. I'm glad you could join us on short notice.
Doug Ibargüen, past district governor.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see your faces.
And Robin is our assistant governor. So, and Assistant Governor Coordinator, Scott Boucher.
Hello, everybody.
So these guys really helped me get this pulled together. There was a lot of scrambling to get this into a format that would translate well to a screen. So I will apologize. Some of the screens are really text heavy. That's not something I like to do, but I'm just trying to get the information out there as quickly as we can. So I'm going to start with your roles and responsibilities as president. So give me just a second here. I'm going to start a slideshow.
Karina, should we review the yellow dot in the speaker box? Did you already do that? You know how you,
Oh, no, go ahead, Robin. You want to do that while I get this going?
Sure. So when you look at your screen where the Zoom window is open, you have 3 colored dots, for lack of a better term, on the top left corner. At least that's how it is on my screen. If you click on the yellow dot, it will be just the speaker floating around in a box on your screen while we work through these screen shares with Karina. So you may want to give that a go so you don't have, 15 people on your screen and trying to watch a slideshow. Did that work for everyone?
All right. Yes, there are lots of handy dandy tips that are available for Zoom. Oh, I guess I already did this slide. This one's old, guys. We need a new picture. So talking about the roles and responsibilities of president-elect and president. So likely most of you are presidents elect and vice presidents. When you start your role, you're going to be president and president-elect. And these are the things that are really important to taking on that role. My favorite 2 are collaboration and delegation. Collaboration it's the only way to effectively get everything done that you want to do for your year. And in order to do that, you need to delegate. And surrounding yourself with the right people to do that is key to getting that done. So as president, you're leading your club, and engagement and inspiration are 2 of the key things that you need to do, as well as promoting Rotary in your community. Leadership is extremely important, as you know, and you want to be an effective leader. So you want to be prepared, you want to be knowledgeable, and you want to be professional. And those are the things that are going to help you be an effective leader. And they're really also going to help you with the next 2 items, engaging and inspiring your members. Your members will be engaged if you are, first of all, give them a good leader to follow. And if your club's activities are well organized, fun, and really are doing what the club's mission is. So if your mission is to be in the community working hands-on, those are the kind of activities that is going to engage your club. You want to inspire your members, and you can do that by leading through example. You want to be the person that's out there. You want to go to all the events. You want to be represented there, and you want to be inspire your members to take their own lead at events. So when I say you want to be at the event, I don't mean you want to be running every event. Absolutely not. You want to support your members, inspire your members to lead the events. and you just are there to support your club. And promoting Rotary in your community, I'd like to take that a step further, because it's also extremely important to promote Rotary in your club. You know, you want to make sure that people know what, you know, is part about being a knowledgeable leader. You want people to know about Rotary, and you want people to become involved more in Rotary. So the next slides are the ones that I want to apologize about. They're not typical for what you want to, how you want to present. They're very text heavy, but all of what I'm showing you was literally copied from your President's Club manual. So, excuse me. My daughter does not know I'm in a meeting. There we go. The beginning of the manual shows all the roles and responsibilities. So you can refer to this at any time. I'm using these as talking points, so I'm going to kind of group them together and go through them. You're as club president-elect, so this will be for the vice presidents. Your whole year is going to be directed at continuity, providing a smooth transition. You are going to do all the things that are on this list in an effort to make that transition work and make it as smooth as possible and be supportive of the current president. So you're always going to be in communication with the president and the directors. You're going to start looking for committee chairs and a trainer for your year that are going to also support and do that as soon as possible, so that that engagement can start early. All of the other things you want to do are going to be in preparation for your year, and definitely attending PETS, excuse me, for your year, any of the district trainings and district conference. Start thinking about goals. If you're engaged with your current president, you're going to know what their goals are, and you're going to know what goals will keep that momentum going for the club. So you really need to look at everything as a whole, not just what you want to do. And you want to make sure that you're connected. You're connected to My Rotary, to the district website, to all of those things that you need to do. So for the presidents-elect here, your job as club president is to start actually doing these things that that you've been thinking about and planning and starting to get going during your vice president year. Set your goals, communicate, working on a budget. All of those things are going to be important. You're also wanting to make sure that your secretary and treasurer are connected and know what's going on and have their accounts to go, ready to go. You want to make the connections, and this is one of the things that I'm really sorry about, that you'll all be missing, not attending PETS in Quebec. You're not getting together with your classmates. We're not getting together with all of those folks across the border, and you're not meeting all of the district leadership in person. And so this is really going to take some extra effort from people on our side of the border to make sure that we're making those connections as wide as we can. And I know the district is talking about ways to get us together to do more, so that we can, at some future date, get everybody together and work on those types of meetings. Again, communication. You notice that comes up a lot. Communication is so important. And you're going to be communicating at all different levels. And hopefully we'll talk later about the different people to communicate with. Your assistant governor is going to be key in preparation for many things. And of course, the basics of your club, your board meetings and your club meetings, and making those relevant and supportive of the club. Training is important for everybody. There are district trainings, but there are also there's also the opportunity to have a club trainer that will definitely help your members and help your membership. And technology is another issue, another key for as you can see, you know, this is kind of trial by fire here, but technology is hugely important. You're going to be asked to put your goals in Rotary Club Central, which is Rotary International's online goal tracking. And you're also going to be required to make sure that at the district level, all of your members are appropriately listed in the website at the district. This, for us, we've just had issues with reaching everybody. The district website is how the district communicates. There are many vice presidents who are not listed on the district website. And we missed emailing quite a number of people, try as we might in these last couple of days to get as many as we could. There were quite a few people that we did miss because we didn't have them listed in there. And also, you're going to be required to submit an annual report. There are things that you need to know as your club president. And this is also, as we talked about for the president-elect, working with your successors, that continuity is key to having a successful year and a successful transition to the next year. So I'm going to speak quickly about what I had mentioned before a little bit. Working with your club and district leaders, it's all about communication. You want to be in contact with your assistant governor. Your assistant governor will be in contact with you. Hopefully they're sending you, so I know in your year, Robin will be the new assistant governor coordinator. As an assistant governor, you will be receiving regular emails telling you exactly what needs to be done. So you don't have to worry too much about, oh my gosh, am I going to miss something? No, Robin will keep you all informed about what you need to do. Then it's up to you to do it. You are going to be the connection to all the presidents-elect, and that communication has to happen. Your members are going to be looking to you for information. They're going to be emailing you. They're going to be contacting you. And this is just because email is such an important communication, it can be very overwhelming. So with the number of emails you get. So I really encourage you to make it a practice to go through your emails every day and come up with a way to make sure you're identifying the important emails and following through with what needs to happen. If something comes from your assistant governor, you need to make sure to look at it. If it comes from RI, you need to be sure to look at it. As president, you will be getting email requests from other countries to join in on projects. There are things you'll be getting that you might not have to pay much attention to, but you can feel free to look at. But please know if it comes from your assistant governor, if it comes from the district governor, if it comes from Rotary International, those are emails you absolutely want to pay attention to. Sorry, hang on just a second here. And again, it's all about communication. We work with, your district governor is from Quebec. There's a language barrier there. Joelle speaks really good English, but there is still a language and culture barrier that everybody needs to be aware of. And my best advice for all of you is to, when you read something that may sound abrupt or strange or different, understand that they are making a huge effort to reach us in our language, and very few of us can reach them in theirs. So they're making this huge effort, and we need to take every one of their communications and make sure to never assume malice. If you have a question, ask the question. Don't assume that it's coming from, that there is some malicious intent or that there's a negativity to it. It may sound funny. That's all that it may be. And I again encourage you all to keep that in mind. We're a multicultural district, and there aren't that many of them in the world, as a matter of fact. So please, always remember that they're trying to come to us in our language far more than we are going to them in theirs. So just keep that in mind when you're communicating. The district leaders, let me click on this quickly. This is going to the district website. And I'll show you the current leadership of our district right now. Maybe. I'm just wondering how the entire world is going to work, all being on the internet at the same time. So if you go to district, we have a district organization chart. And you can see our current district governor is Suzanne, and the district executives are here. Anytime you're on the district site and you click on a name, it'll automatically open an email for that club. For that person. So you can email them directly. Okay, you can see there's all kinds of people here. Scott, I believe you are up next. I will just say that no, you can talk about the resources thing. So I will hand it over to Scott.
All right, thanks, Karina. One thing I do want to mention, Joelle did point out in the chat that you want to mark your calendars down because it is looking like October 16th, 17th, and 18th. This fall, we'll have something being organized. We'll have more details to follow, but there will be an opportunity for us all to get together. Traditionally in the fall, we always have a district assembly, and I'm sure there will be a component of a district assembly, but it also might be a component of a fall pets or a reconnection. So just keep that on your calendar, October 16th, 17th, and 18th. That would be a great time to really circle that on your calendar and block it off. And the other thing I'll mention on the chat, French is definitely, my last name being Boucher, I should be speaking French, but I do not speak French a lick. But we do have several members across the district, especially here on the main side, that do speak French, as Ken Nagel, the president-elect, or the current president, and soon to be assistant governor in the Bangor Breakfast Club, is very fluent in French. And so we do even have people here on the main side. If you need assistance, just reach out to any of the AGs or the training team. We'll put you in contact if you need something translated or work through something. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on to the resources that you guys have available. Karina's already mentioned a couple of things, especially with the Rotary.org and the district website. You're going to hear us continue to pound this into everybody's head, but we need you to be on myrotary.org. If you haven't signed up for it yet, if you haven't got a login yet, you need to do that as soon as possible. So my challenge to you is, if you don't have it, please, after you get off the phone or off this Zoom meeting today, get signed up. Make sure you have a myrotary.org account. One of the items that I believe will be in the kits that Joelle has prepared is a hard copy of the President's Manual. We actually have it electronically linked. So in the agenda, you'll actually be able to click on it and see the electronic version. But this manual is going to really become the Bible for you as a president for your year. It really is important for you to become familiar with what's in there for resources. What I like about the online access is sometimes there's hyperlinks that you can connect to, click on, it'll take you to different sections of Rotary.org. But
Scott, you have mouse control.
oh, thank you, Karina. Just because I have mouse control doesn't mean I can. All right. So anyways, it doesn't seem like I can advance, but we'll continue on. So one of the things inside the President's Manual that I'm going to point out to you guys is the table of contents. And as you look through the table of contents, this is like page 6 inside that manual as you scroll down through it, you're going to see it's actually broken down into different sections. 1, planning your year. 2, leading Rotarians. 3, running your meetings. 4, running your clubs. 5, strengthening your membership. Promoting Rotary, the Rotary Foundation, your projects. These are all sessions that we typically will do inside a PETS training. So the manual is actually a great guide for even the training team to be able to talk to you guys, but it's going to be a great resource for you to kind of go back and look at and review as time goes along. So don't lose track of that manual. In fact, the year that I was president, I actually printed it off. I had my hard copy, and I made notes in my manual all throughout the year. It was just one of those things that I would always go back to, refer. If I heard a tip on something when I was going to a district conference meeting, I'd always write those notes in my manual and go back to it and be able to reference what section of the website to go to. So it's definitely important for you to be able to review that. And what Karina has been able to just pull up is the manual itself. And she's going to go right down. There you go. The introduction is your job as club president, planning your year. So keep that, hold on to it closely. Don't lose it. If you ever do lose it, we'll get you a copy electronically, but that will be coming into the packet that Joelle has prepared for you. So know that you have that available. The next item I want to just talk about is in the attachment, we actually will be giving you a calendar that we've created, and Karina is pulling it right up. It's a planning calendar for the year. And a lot of this stuff, we've been pulling information for the past several years for best practices from other president-elects that's gone through this process, trying to give you guys an outline that might be very useful for you when you were planning your year. This is really what we call the president-elect planning year. If anybody here is a vice president, this is exactly what you should be working on right now. Even if you're a president-elect and you're taking office in 4 months, this is still really important for you to be looking at and starting to look at saying, gee, maybe I should be going back and doing some of these items. But let me just hit some highlights. First off, meet with your club president, your current club president. Sit down, talk to that club president. They're going to be a wealth of knowledge and resources of what's worked well, what hasn't worked well, kind of help you develop your strategy and how you want to tackle the year as president. The other thing that you want to make sure of is having a clear communication line with your assistant governor. And Karina's already mentioned that your assistant governors are going to be a great portal for you to be able to ask questions, direct comments, and if you need resources, they may not have the answer immediately, but they know how to go about getting you those answers. So your assistant governor can be a great resource for you to take advantage of. We also like to talk about setting up files. Files for me, when I do my presidency, I wanted to have different things organized when I was looking at different things. I had a file for ideas. Whenever I came across what another club was doing or a good practice I wanted to follow up on, I filed it away to my ideas file. If I had questions and I needed some resources, I had a whole file just of questions that I had and then the answers to those questions. But they also had a file for committee chairs and also for different articles. If you go through the Rotary magazine or if you go online to Rotary.org, there's all kinds of fantastic resources that, again, you might be able to pull from and adopt into your own club. Consider picking advisors. That's one other thing I'll mention to you. As you're coming up onto your presidency year, you may want to have a couple people that you can bounce ideas off. Maybe past presidents, maybe individuals that you have a lot of respect for that have done a really good job. Picking advisors that you can bounce those ideas off is a great opportunity to have that sounding board. One of the items I personally did before I became president is I actually asked for past presidents to have a luncheon with me. And after I left PETS, I developed a bunch of goals, what I thought I would like to adopt inside our club. And I presented those goals to the past presidents, and they gave me their input, And I'm telling you, anybody that's gone through this before you has some great insight to share with you. Each club has different intricacies, different quirks about it, and really go back to those past presidents and talk to them about it. And then you'll go down through, there's other items, but one thing I'll mention to you as you're planning out your year, start picking different people to have different offices or different roles within the club. But make the ask. One thing I always tell people is just because you have had the same sergeant of arms in that role for the last 15 years, you're assuming that they're going to continue on in that role. Don't make that assumption. Make a call, pull them aside in a meeting and say, you know what, I'm planning ahead for my year. Can I count on you for this position? Just because the person has done it for all these years, it really makes a big difference just making that ask and not assuming that they always want to hold on to that role. You might also find that they might be looking to transition out of that role and they need to have somebody to shadow them for a year. Again, have that communication. Don't make assumptions. If somebody's always run your major fundraiser, extend that invite. I would love to have you run it again, or what do you need for resources? But don't just assume that everybody's going to take on the same roles that you're becoming president. You want to make sure you have those requests done ahead of time. And so that's the president calendar, the year for, you'll see about setting your budget, working with your treasurer, working with the secretary. But it's going to be important for you guys to review that and share that with your vice president so they can start working on it immediately also. So with that, with the time, I'm going to turn it back over to Karina.
All right. And actually, I am going to throw it over to Doug. One of the things that we're going to talk about today is the organization of Rotary. And because I know that can be confusing for some people. And we also have some updates on that we wanted to make you aware of. Take it away, Doug.
All righty, very good. Thank you. So Karina, are you going to be advancing these or what? That's my question. Anyway.
I'm talking and I'm muted. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can make you the host for now.
So while she's doing that, or hopefully doing that, obviously we want to have folks realize the extent of the organization for which you are now employed, so to speak. And if we can get to the next slide. I see you're moving. Why don't you just move it to the next slide, Karina?
All right. Yep.
All right. So ordinarily we'd be doing this kind of as a quiz, how many clubs do you think there are and how many countries and so forth. But for the sake of time, I'll quickly go through this because we've got a lot to cover. There are about 35,890 clubs, as a matter of fact, in about 219 countries. And of course, unfortunately, the current membership is staying right about there at 1.2 million as it has been. As you know, it's been kind of stagnant. And of course, how are clubs associated with Rotary International? Well, clubs have to join Rotary International by being chartered. Just as an individual joins a club, that club has to be associated with Rotary International by being chartered by them and therefore accepting the responsibility of the four-way test, Rotary Club Constitution and bylaws, and of course the object of Rotary. Okay, so why does Rotary need leaders and an organization beyond the club? Well, just because of the depth and the width of Rotary International and its great diversity, we obviously need to have leadership at all different levels. So in order to do this, we'll get into the structure of Rotary. There are about 535 districts, and those are organized into 34 zones, which are a bit more manageable. And they each have their own elected and appointed officials. And as you know, of course, Rotary is unique in that it changes the upper level leadership every year. Obviously, this doesn't happen all the time in all of our clubs. We have club presidents who have been club president before and so forth. But the general rule of thumb is that you have the club president changing every year, the district governor changing every year, and of course, the Rotary International president also changing every year. All right, so here's a way to look at the structure of Rotary. You see the clubs gathered in the center, and then those are encompassed by the districts in their geographical areas, and then the zones encompass the districts, which of course in turn encompass the clubs. So that's a good way to look at it, where you've got like 35,000 clubs with 530 districts and 34 regional zones. And another way of looking at it, which is actually, I think, even a better way, is to realize that the top of the organization chart of Rotary International is indeed the clubs. Everything that is below the level of the clubs, they are there, the districts, the zone, the RI Secretariat with its board are there to support the clubs. So that's why this image of the upside down pyramid is really a better way of looking at it and realizing how the organization of Rotary works. So that's why, you know, by far the most important element within the organization of Rotary are the clubs. Okay, so you have, of course, Rotary officers each year. As we mentioned, the Rotary International president and those officers, they're all volunteers. The board of directors, those are again all volunteers, 15 of them representing at least 2 zones each. And the district governor also, who is an elected official of Rotary International, is also a volunteer. So then you have the only paid staff in the administration of Rotary International, and that, of course, is the RI General Secretary, who is currently John Huco. And of course, you have those who are working in the Secretariat in Evanston or in other areas of the world to support everything that happens within Rotary. Those, of course, are also paid individuals. Okay, so here you have, look at that handsome gentleman on the right. You have our own district governor, Joël Philibert from Rotary Club of Saint Nicolas, Quebec, Canada. And your RI president, Holger Knack, the Rotary Club of Herzogtum Lauenburg-Mölln in Deutschland. So these are your official Rotary International officers for 2021, duly elected and present. Okay, now why do we need districts? We've actually already answered this, have we not? You can go to the next slide, Karina. Because of the support that the district is to the clubs, that's why we need the district. You have a bridge between to the clubs from the district for administrative and for education. That's what we're doing right here. Besides the leadership bridge, and of course, almost, well, I'm prejudiced, but the Rotary Foundation bridge is certainly extremely important because of especially with the new grants model and so forth. Obviously, the funding part of Rotary Foundation and the bridge between the foundation and your club is critical. And I understand that, well, of course, now, as you know, with the district grant, the money is actually controlled by the district. They are responsible for it. And I understand that the funding, I don't know if has happened now with Joël for this year, but I think maybe next year, the funding for the district governor is actually going to be controlled. The money will be controlled by the district. Is that not true, Joël? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So in essence, we've answered this before too. Who is the district? Well, by golly, you are all the district because you are all volunteers from your clubs, and you know, we all have the responsibility to to make our clubs successful, therefore making the district successful, and vice versa. It's a two-way street. All right, so let's look at our actual district as we see it today. I hope I'm not going to be revealing information that's not supposed to come out yet, but I'm going to do it anyway. But so this is the way our district looks right now, 7790, with 21 clubs in Maine, 28 in Quebec. But then there's coming down the road, not this year, but the year after, our friends in District 7810 have an issue with their population, shall we say, and they have been given the onus, if they don't increase their Rotarian numbers by, I guess, the end of this year, then there is a scenario that is set to take place between 7790, 7810, and 7820 to take care of that. So anyway, you'll notice there are 10 clubs in Maine in 7810 and 29 clubs in Canada in 7810. But then you have 7820, which takes us even further to the east, where you have one club, St. Pierre and Miquelon, and 45 in Canada. So what is actually scheduled to happen is that those 10 clubs that you saw in Maine would actually join 7790, which would then give us 59 clubs. And these, the clubs that you saw in Canada in 7810 would join 7820. Therefore, 7820 would actually end up with 75 clubs. So that's coming down the road, not this year, but apparently next year. So Joel, does that make sense to you? Okay. All right. That's it. Yeah, and you know, those maps that you saw, that's just what was available on Club Runner from the district. So obviously there are not all of the clubs that are actually there are on that map, but I didn't have time to make a new map. So that's it.
Thank you, Doug. Next on the agenda, we have a panel discussion about different kinds of Rotary meetings. And Robin will be our moderator, and Scott and Doug and I will be the panelists. And Joelle or Suzanne, now that you're in the room, if anybody would like to jump in with any of these questions, we would love to have you.
So good morning. As we spoke earlier, you're going to have a variety of meetings coming up that you're responsible for. And at the end of the session, hopefully we'll help you understand what meetings you will lead, have tips for those meetings, hopefully informative and fun, and prepare for your district governor's visit, and maybe get a little creative along the way. So let's start with some weekly meetings. Doug, do members attend because they have to or because they like to?
Well, I'm glad to say that in our club, they actually attend because they like to. Because in my years around Rotary International, I've seen the rules, shall we say, for attendance diminish to virtually nothing. So you can hardly say that they have to attend almost these days, because they've slackened the rules so much. You know, in my time, I remember when it used to be just 1 week on either side of a missed meeting to make up, and the only makeups you could do was to attend another club meeting. Then that changed to 2 weeks on either side of a missed meeting. But then, of course, they added in committee meetings and things like that, which you could use as makeup, or doing anything virtually for the club. You could apply that as a makeup. And of course now, with the new council on legislation, the time that you have for makeup is not 2 weeks, it's 52 weeks. It's 1 year that you actually have to make up a missed meeting. So that's why I say the rules for having to attend a meeting are almost gone virtually. But I will say, one of the things I've noticed with our club is when we have a major event that we put on, and then you'd think, well, the next meeting, we won't have that much participation. No, that's when you actually get the most participation in our club, because people have been so engaged with each other and have built this camaraderie and had a good time, putting on, let's say, the Festival of Trees or whatever. Then we actually get better attendance at a club meeting after that.
Oh, that's interesting. Obviously, the quality of the meeting contributes. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Oh, yes. Well, a lot of people thought that when we moved to a morning meeting, we'd have a devil of a time getting speakers. But we have fantastic speakers. We always are very grateful for those who come in, and some go, many, many hours away to get here for a 7 a.m. meeting. And that certainly helps when you have an inspiring speaker. And we always make sure that people are aware who the upcoming speaker is. It's always listed on our website and with their topic and so forth. So that is, I think, critical to having an interesting meeting and having a meeting that your membership will want to attend.
And I think it's really important, I'll add a comment here about making sure that your speakers are posted on your website or social media or what have you for visiting Rotarians or prospective members or even your own membership. So keep that in mind as you go forth in your year. I'm going to swing it over to Scott. Does your club have, strict attendance expectations? Doug touched on it. But maybe let's talk about the other ways that members can attend club meetings. And the Bangor Noon Club actually does something interesting with their attendance. You want to speak to that, Scott?
Sure. Yeah, so with our club, we really don't have strict attendance. As Doug had mentioned, a lot of relaxation on those rules have come down for the last several years. But we still track every meeting. We still track our attendance. And the way it kind of developed is over the last few years, we've been fortunate enough that we actually have a member who's our sergeant of arms, and he actually brings in his iPad in each week. And so he actually brings it up to the website, Club Runner, where we track our attendance, actually pulls up the roster list and actually has it right there at the door. So as our members walk in, they actually check on the iPad that they're in attendance. What this helps is at the end of the meeting, we're able to hit save, automatically goes off to the district website, and automatically goes into our club website for records. So I know that when I was secretary, that would have saved me a lot of time not having to go through this every week and then doing duplication of efforts. And so I'm sure that there's a lot of clubs out there that have members with old iPads that have internet capabilities that they could just put that at the front door. It just takes one less step out, gets the members to be able to check off themselves. But also, going further, we give our opportunity for our members to have a lot of opportunities for makeup. And as Doug mentioned, with special projects, special events, parades, whatever the Rotary Club might be working on. But we also encourage in our area to attend other club meetings because we're very fortunate. In Area 9, we have a breakfast club, we have a noontime club, and we have a nighttime club. And they all meet on different days. So it gives us the opportunity that, you know what, if noontime's not going to work this week for my regular meeting, maybe I go over on Thursday and catch a Bangor breakfast meeting and have an opportunity to do that makeup. And then I've had a lot of opportunities for myself where I like to bring my family to some Rotary meetings. So the Old Town Club meets in the evening time, and that allows me to bring my spouse, my child. So if we see that there's going to be a really interesting topic or an event that's happening, we actually bounce around to a lot of clubs to do those makeups. And on our website, for our own club website, we actually have a link right on there where you can go online and do an e-club makeup. And so that's another interesting opportunity that if you haven't talked about it to your members, there are virtual clubs in Rotary International that meet purely only online. And you're able to log into those meetings. At the end of the meeting, you actually get a little slip or an email confirmation that you did a makeup, and you can turn that into your club secretary for attendance. But that's another interesting way. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite parts about Rotary is visiting other clubs and seeing how other clubs work and operate. and each club has a different personality. And when I was president, I was always looking to rob little ideas from everybody else, best practices, and implement them for our own club. So that's one thing I would also encourage you guys to consider.
And Scott, your club does a really nice welcoming. You want to speak to that for a second?
So one of the things that we try to implement, especially with our new members, is we actually have a welcoming committee. So when you come into the club meeting, we actually have a couple members. Typically, it's going to be this. If we have a new member, we ask the sponsoring Rotarian and the new member themselves to stand up front and greet people as they come in. And that just provides a little bit of a warmth, hospitality when they come into the meeting. They see a friendly face. It gives the opportunity for the new Rotarian to meet each person one-on-one, individually, to welcome them into the club. Great way of learning some new people's names. Great way of just introducing themselves to the club. But also, if you have a visiting person coming out from the community, to come in and have a person waiting at the door to help them find a table, tell them, here's the process. We get our tickets here. You're more than welcome to sit with the head table. Having that welcoming committee can be a very important factor of making people feel like they want to come back to your club.
Thank you, Scott. Doug, how does your club gather opinions and ideas about the meeting format? Do you do a survey? What happens in your club?
Yeah, we have done a survey in the past. It has been a while since we've done a new one, excuse me, a new one, but yes, well, that's the way we we rearrange, for example, the sequence in how we ran the meeting. We now have the speaker be on first, because you're more likely to not get scooters who duck out early and therefore miss the speaker, or take off while the speaker is speaking, which is certainly not a good practice. So that was one of the things that in the last few years we have changed. So yeah, that's how we've done it in the past.
Thank you. And one final one, Karina, why don't we talk about the way our club has changed its format, frequency, what we do in our weekly meetings? We've kind of changed a few things up there.
Yeah, so one of the things, and actually this came as a direct result of attending a district conference. One of the things we learned in one of our sessions was about something called an in-club meeting. And no, in-club project. I hope all your meetings are in-club meetings. An in-club project. I mean, oh my gosh, in-meeting club project.
We do a service project.
In the meeting. So it's amazing. The turnout is fantastic. And the member who I was sitting with in that session, you could just see her listening to the ideas, and she took that to heart, brought it back to the club. The club wholeheartedly got behind her, and we now have projects that are absolutely amazing. So the most recent one was a couple weeks ago. We had been, I don't know where she got all the food this time, but anyway, the club gives her a budget. That's right. So not only do we take the in-club service projects to heart, we gave her a budget every month to do this. She bought a bunch of food, and then the club went to her garage where she had all this food, and we spent our meeting packing bags for the local schools. And all of this food goes to the schools. In November, she did what we called it a reverse advent calendar, and for every day in November, you were supposed to collect a different item. So there were 31 items, 30 items that we would put into a box and again gave to the schools. So we had that as an in-club project where we put everything together, and then the following morning a bunch of us all went to deliver all of these to our area schools, because all of our area schools have resource rooms. We also did another one where she bought stockings and collected from us items to put in the stockings, and we donated 100 and something stockings full of toys, games, and all kinds of educational stuff, candy for Christmas time to all of the schools. Um,
And I'll
and
jump in.
birthday bags, that's another one. So that was directly from the other ones she came up with, but the birthday bags was something from the district conference, where we have a big bag, we fill it, she sets up stations all around the room, and we take a bag and go fill. That's how everything gets filled. We filled these with cake mix, a disposable pan, frosting, balloons, streamers, little gifts. You know, there are families out there where they don't know where their next meal's coming from, never mind trying to make it special for a kid, you know, for their kids. So we kind of try to take a little bit of the pressure off and give them that. So those projects have been fantastic, and it's blossomed into a huge project since Sarah's house ended. We've been looking for a big focus for our club, and it's becoming food insecurity in our community, and we've got more that came out of that.
And as a result, we've noticed our attendance is up on those weeks in particular. So
Yep.
it has helped with our engagement with our membership and our retention, of course.
And with our engagement in the community, because we are out there all the time conversing with all of these agencies to get them what they need.
I'm going to shift gears into club assemblies, which is a little different than a weekly club meeting. So Scott, do you want to talk about a club assembly, how often you hold them, and how they're different than club meetings?
Certainly. My recommendation, just because of past experiences, I would recommend as a president-elect that you earmark at least maybe once a quarter, 4 meetings a year that you designate as club assembly meetings. Club assemblies is purely that you're having a regular meeting with your membership, but you have a specific goal for what you're going to do for work for that meeting. And one of the things I'll tell you right off the bat that I would recommend for you to do is in the month of July, you're just coming into office, have a meeting set aside in the calendar that you're going to review with your club what your specific goals are for this upcoming year. If you've set some specific goals that you want member buy-in, member support, it's a great way to roll it out right when you first take office, make sure that they know the expectations for the upcoming year. And so it's just an opportunity for you to be able to work with your members. We actually break down into the tables that they're sitting in for lunch. That's a working group right there. Each club assembly might have a different theme. We've had some assemblies say, you know what, we need to recreate our major fundraiser. What a great opportunity that we have our membership all in the room at the same time to share ideas, to get out a whiteboard and really make it a working meeting. So my recommendation, when you work with your speaker coordinator, sit down, earmark 4 specific times throughout the year that you can do check-ins and have club assemblies, but use that very first session, hopefully in July, that you're going to get introducing to your club membership your goals and what your expectations are for the year, and let them have any input. If they think there's some recommendations they should be putting out to you also, do it at the beginning of the year. Don't wait till the end.
And Karina, maybe you can take this. What kind of venue? Should you change your venue? Do you use your regular meeting location? What makes it a little bit more effective?
It depends on the club. Ours have been at our venue, you know, where we have our regular meetings. However, we found, you know, that it can really engage members to be somewhere else and to kind of make it a separate event. It's hard. We struggle as a club with how we're going to promote the meeting. Like if we say, oh, it's a club assembly, are they going to come? Are people going to show up? Because it's talking about, you know, club stuff. But with the new projects and the new direction of our club, we found that our attendance has been very good at our regular location. But I think you can, you know, come up with those kinds of things on your own. It can be a lot of fun to go to other places. Go to somebody else's place of employment that has enough room for a bunch of people. That might make it, you know, more enticing for people to want to come, even though the topic may not be what they want to talk about necessarily. But it's really important to share your club information with the whole club and not just the board.
Thank you. shifting gears once more, let's talk about the assistant governor's visit. Doug, as a past district governor, why do we have AGs? What is their role for the district governor or the club or what have you? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Certainly. I was fortunate to have some excellent assistant governors while we had our year back in 07 and 08, the dark ages. But truly, the assistant governor is that liaison between the governor and the clubs. The governor may not always be readily available, because you never know where the governor may be unless the schedule is on the website, and then you can follow it. But with the wide range of our district, especially, we need the assistant governor to be the person you can go to, who can then in turn go to the governor themselves and get back to you with whatever it is that you need assistance with. So it's just another, oh, there's that word, conduit, between the club. Yeah, that goes back, doesn't it? The conduit between the governor and the club, and they're actually they're invaluable. The better an AG, the better all of the communication in the district will be.
And I'll insert this. If I think of it and approach it as an AG, if one club president asks me a question, chances are the other club presidents may have that same question. So getting an answer and putting it back to everyone, it's really important, and it helps cut down on the lack of communication and confusion. So Scott, when should your club invite the AG, and when does the AG visit?
Sorry, the first thing that you'll have to know about is that the district governor will have a schedule for visits, and Joel will be going over that in a little bit more detail with the calendar and things like that he has going on with himself. But that's one opportunity that you'll know that the assistant governor will be reaching out to you to help organize that visit, what the expectation is. One thing to mention, if the district governor is coming to visit your club for his annual visit, he is the presentation. You are not to schedule anything else. He or she, if they put their whole year together, they really have focused on this year to present to your club, please give them the utmost respect. They are the presentation. So that's my little soapbox. When else should you have the assistant governor? I would recommend inviting the assistant governor anytime you have an important meeting coming up, maybe a club assembly, and you want their input also. Maybe you want them to sit in that 1st July meeting to hear your goals, and maybe they have some other things that they can relate back from the district. I would also tell you that if you have any major functions, fundraisers, if you're having a dinner, an auction, please extend the invite to have the assistant governor come and join you at one of those events. It's really, I'd love it when I was assistant governor. I love invitations. I love being asked. And I might not be able to attend everything, but having that warmth and knowing my clubs really appreciated what I was doing and wanted to give me the opportunity to attend, I think it's a great opportunity for you to really get them involved. So
it's also nice to pick up their tab. You don't have to, but it is kind of a nice thing for the club to pick up the tab of the AG if they're in the club.
And I'll also mention, give them the opportunity, if you're doing announcements, ask the assistant governor, do you have any words to share from the district? Is there any events coming up that they want to be able to talk to you about? It's really respectful for them to be able to have an opportunity to just give them a couple minutes that they can address your membership and share any words that they might want to have.
Yep. Thank you. So we kind of talked about that. Let's see. Let's move on to the governor's visit. Karina, speak to how do you involve your club members when the district governor visits, and how do you prepare?
I start with a newsletter and an article that I update every year. Or Robin, sometimes you update it. Between the two of us, we get this message out. And it is titled, "The Most Important Meeting of Your Rotary Year," because the district governor is coming to your club. This person has given up 2 to 3 years of their life in order to be district governor. The preparation is endless, and the amount of time that they spend as district governor is it's full time. It's a full-time job. And we, at the very least, can give them as much respect as possible for what they're doing. So make the meeting special. Dress up. Wear your Paul Harris's. Put some flowers on the table. And make sure, maybe consider inducting a member or giving out a Paul Harris. Things like that that are really special. Invite spouses, absolutely. At our meeting, we always up the menu a little bit. We have appetizers, which we don't usually have. You know, we try to make it a little special. You want to make sure to communicate with your assistant governor, because they will know things like dietary restrictions, how long they're going to be in the area, different things, needs that they might have that you want to be aware of when presenting. Are they going to be in town for a while? Do they need things to do while they're waiting? Or do they just need a place to have quiet time to catch up on work that they have to do? There are all kinds of things to consider, but really make sure to roll out the red carpet and make it special. They are here, and with the AG, with the DG, with all of these people, they're here to support you and help you. They will give you advice, maybe advice you're not necessarily keen on hearing sometimes, but it is absolutely only meant to better your club. So listen to what they have to say. There are no Rotary police. Everybody is only there to help you.
Thank you. Scott, do you want to add anything to the AG's role?
No, I just would say, really,
Yeah.
you're going to have an open line of communication with the assistant governors leading up to that visit. I would also recommend, and I'll be talking about this, the assistant governors sometimes help organize social events around a visit, maybe if there's opportunities there. But really, your AG will help quarterback that process. So if you do have any questions, contact your AG about the district governor visit.
Thank you. Doug, as a past district governor, Suzanne as current, and Joelle as coming in, anything more to add? Do's, don'ts, anything from the perspective of a district governor?
Well, I would say that it would be important to connect with the district governor and find out what their position is as far as giving them a gift. Some governors have responded, don't give us a gift, make a contribution to the foundation or whatever. So, don't embarrass them by giving them a basket of goodies that they can't take back across the border or whatever. But confer with them previously. The AG most likely would have that information and would know what the wishes of the district governor would be for that year. So those are the kinds of things that I think stick in my mind from having been district governor and doing the visits. They were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. But it's just be aware of that sort of angle involved with the district governor visit.
Thank you very much. Joelle, Suzanne, anything else to add?
Sure. Am I unmuted right now?
No,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Okay. I think one of the things that I certainly appreciated the most from the AGs was them taking the role of making sure that the presidents a reminder that yes, we're coming, and accommodations was very important. I know with some of the Quebec clubs, we had an AG that actually took the whole schedule and actually made all of the hotel reservations for the 4 days that we were going to be up in the area. So we didn't have to worry about anything. We just basically had to show up. I know, Robin, you were very good about just picking us up and saying, I know where all the clubs are. I'll pick you up and drive you to where you need to go. Little things like that make such a difference and take the load of stress off of the district governor, because the stress is really getting to places, meeting people, giving your speech, etc. So those little things are big things when you're visiting the clubs.
Thank you. Joelle, anything?
I don't know what to expect yet. So
We'll take
Just,
good care of you.
yeah, just keep it simple. I'm a simple guy. I'm just want to have fun and visit and know each other. That's what I want. So keep it simple. Have fun. Don't need gift. Just contribute more to the foundation. That's one of my goals. So to have more in the foundation, raise up your average per capita. That's most important thing for me. And the rest of it, it's gonna be a nice year.
Thank you. Finally, we're going to try to wrap up here. We're running out of time for our segment, but let's talk briefly about board meetings. Karina, what should happen at the board meeting?
The board meeting should be it should be organized. As the president, you should have an agenda. Clubs do it differently. Some clubs, the president does it. Some clubs, the secretary does it. It should follow the same format every time, going through all of the officers and asking them for reports on things that are pertinent to their committee. And you should always give everybody in the club the opportunity to attend. So publicize it so that you can have it. Our club has a rotation that we fill out a year in advance, and everybody takes a different month. So for February, everybody was at my house. We had a meal and had the meeting here. And we do that at different places. We have them at people's camps in the summer. So that kind of makes it fun. It makes it fun for the directors who are doing a lot of work. It makes it more interesting for them. But we get the work done. I know a lot of you have to do that more quickly, in an hour before a meeting or other things other than that. So again, that agenda is key to keeping it short. And if you can't have an extended meeting the way our club does, you will definitely need to consider having your committees make sure that they are meeting outside of that group. So again, delegate. Don't forget to delegate. You can't be at all those meetings. You need to trust your chairs to be able to do that.
And then bring it back to the board meeting and report.
And bring it back to thank you, yes.
Right. Doug, how are decisions made at your club meetings, your club board meetings? I'm sorry.
Well, strictly by hand vote. If we have an organization that has requested some funding, we'll discuss it, and someone will make a motion, someone will second it, or not.
Robert's rules.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we use.
The Constitution.
Yeah, and of course, as the agenda is presented to the members before the meeting, by email, and the minutes are then immediately sent to everyone and posted on the website. Some of the members of the board like to say that they don't even get home yet, and the minutes are already posted on the website. Now, that may be true, I guess, if they live far enough out of town.
Right. Well, that's another form of great communication for all club members as well as your board. Scott, anything to add about making board meetings more effective?
Yes, I would actually tell you guys, and we've already hammered down having an agenda, but really have a timekeeper if you need it, because I've been in board meetings where we've literally had 1 hour before our regular club meeting starts, one topic derails the entire board meeting, or you might have a good intended member that they really have some vocal opinions, but don't be afraid to rein them back in and say, you know what, we only have 5 minutes to discuss this particular topic. And don't hesitate to use a gavel or to just move things along, because I've sat in board meetings before that 60 minutes, 45 minutes was on one topic. And I've also had people like topics of members that haven't paid their dues yet. And we've used an entire board meeting going over unpaid dues when we had 12 other things to discuss. Sometimes those things derail. And if you only meet once a month, you want to make sure you're using that 1 hour very efficiently. So you need to be, as a role as president, move that meeting along. If you need to have somebody stop and maybe frame their comments for a later time or bring it back to the next board meeting, you need to take control of that and run your board meeting efficiently.
Thank you. I know in our club, what we do is once in a while things pop up in between board meetings that have to be addressed, or we have a vote, and we do what we call a mini meeting after our regular club meeting. So the president will announce before, you know, the meeting ends, I need all board members just for a few minutes, and we discuss something that's maybe, you know, an emergency funding event or something like that. And that's another effective way just to take that one issue that's just popping up. Finally,
So, excuse me, Robin.
briefly, and finally, how do we, yes,
The one other thing that we do in our board is we will, if we have an emergency decision that needs to be made, you can just do it by email.
yes.
And then we wait for the responses and get the results that way.
And then you have a recorded vote as well. So the final thing is, how do we ensure a smooth transition between presidents and boards? Doug, do you want to lead us off and
Sure. What we always try to do is to have the any new board members coming on attend at least one or two of the meetings before they are officially on the board. And the way our boards are set up, everyone knows what positions are moving up and so forth. So it makes for a very good transition. We have the immediate past president is, of course, always on the board, the president-elect and the vice president. So they've had years of practice, so to speak, at board level to make sure that there's a good transition.
and be comfortable?
Right.
Anything else to add, Scott or Karina? No. Okay. Just to wrap this up, work with your administration committee, make fun and informative meetings, mix it up. You might change your venue. You might do a field trip somewhere, go visit one of your members' places of business. If that's possible for your club, we've done that. It works very well. Link your meetings and activities and speakers to the Rotary calendar, because there's certain months that have areas of focus, such as, you know, May is youth service, or November has always been foundation month. Think about that with planning your speakers. Exchange ideas, review your progress at your club assemblies. Effective board meetings really make a difference, and be sure to bring any district or regional issues into that board meeting. And of course, keep your AG in the loop. Invite them to just stay in the loop with what's going on with your club. AGs actually do have brief reports to write, and we'd like to know what's going on with you. And they are your ally. They are not the Rotary police. And listen to your club members' interests. We have a little bit more flexibility as we go forward, so we can shift our meetings around and do some very creative things. Have fun, keep your members engaged. So I hope this session was helpful. Moving on, and Karina, back to you.
All right, so let's see if I can get us there. Thank you, Robin. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the club leadership plan, and very general terms about some of the things for you to do during your year. If you will notice the page that I created for you of resources with all of the different links there, this Be a Vibrant Club Leadership Plan, it's a 4-page flyer, is part of that. So what is a vibrant club? Okay, I think we all know basically the things that you want to do are to get engagement for your club. A lot of us do that through projects, and I think probably the hardest thing for some of us to do is to try those new ideas. But I would encourage all of you to try new ideas whenever you can. And why is being vibrant good for your club? Because it's, you know, why is being vibrant good for your club? All of the things that go into a vibrant club are just basic best practices for anyone who is leading your club in Rotary. So all of these best practices go into creating that vibrancy in your club. So first, make long-range plans. One of the key focus points of pets, what it is still going to be strategic planning. Making a 3 to 5 year plan for your club. And we're going to go through that in one of the future sessions that we will be having. That strategic planning will lead to the development of your annual goals. So as you're listening to these discussions, the ones that we've already had, you might already be thinking, I'm sure you all are, about what things you can bring back and apply to your club going forward. And these are going to be the kinds of things that you're going to develop goals around for your year. We talked about holding engaging meetings. Think about some other ways to do this. This would have, if we were all together, this would be a great discussion about what other clubs are doing for really engaging meetings, ways to change it up. I know some people get stuck in a rut with hearing, like you've got a whole bunch of educators in your club, so you're only hearing from those kinds of topics, or you've got a whole bunch of healthcare professionals, so you're only hearing from that. Try to look outside of your club and try to look at your other resources that you have in the area, look at events that are going on, and really pull from different folks to get them in. Have a communication plan. We talked a lot about communications in like different ways to communicate, but think about actually writing down some of those ways to communicate into an actual plan that you can carry out throughout your year. All of the things we discussed today are working in, not all of them, but we talked a lot today about continuity of your leadership through your meetings and through succession planning. So be aware of that all the time. This is going to be a homework assignment for you. Adapt the bylaws to suit your club. Now, all of you have, right, bylaws. And I bet some of you are going, what? And that happens every year because it's something that kind of sometimes gets put on the back burner. Every club has to have bylaws. They talk about things like how much you're charging for your meetings, where your meeting is held, what some of your specific rules are in your club. Attached to the resources and right in the agenda is a sample bylaws. And that's going to be your task for until the next meeting, is to find your club's bylaws and see what needs to be updated. So give that a bit of a review. Develop relationships within the club. This again goes back to your meetings and your projects and your composure. How are you handling your meetings? Are people being engaged? Are people being encouraged to do things maybe out of their comfort zone? I know one of the issues that we hear about every year are those table clicks. You know, you all have them, that table that all sits together. Well, consider breaking people up. Consider doing things that get people to move around the room. Maybe change the seating. I know at a restaurant that can be pretty hard, but different ideas to try to get people to sit with somebody else. This is really important. I attended a district, a zone meeting where a woman was talking to us about engaging people or membership. I actually can't remember what the specific topic was. It was membership. And one of the things is we'll do a session on membership going forward. And you want to make sure to keep people, give everybody in the club a job. However, you don't want to give somebody a job that isn't going to work for them. And this woman had a chair. She put the chair on the stage. She sat in the chair and she said, "Okay, chair, fly me to California." Well, okay, the chair's not going to do that. You're asking the chair to do something that the chair is not going to do. give me a rest. Oh, yes, a chair can do that perfectly. So make sure you're looking at the people in your room. Are they introverts? Are they extroverts? One of the other activities we do at Pets is a compass activity so that you can get the feel for what people are good at and what generally their comfort level is, so that you know when you're asking them to do something, you're not asking them to step way out of their comfort zone, and coach them. And this goes back to what Scott was saying about mentorship. Mentor the people coming in. And if you were the person who asked them to be in the club, you are most likely going to be their mentor. But if there's somebody else that's more suited to that, absolutely have them do it too. Coach people in the club into better positions, and eventually you end up with Robin as an AG coordinator because I hounded her into it for many years. But no, encourage that leadership. You don't get effective committees if you aren't having the right people doing the jobs. So this all goes into the mix of making sure that you have the right people doing the positions. And these committees that you see here, they're all in that plan. They are the committees that RI recommends, and they are hugely useful to have one of each of those in your club. Actually, I don't really get this slide, but turn your challenges into successes. That's the main point here. Look around your community. Right now, there's going to be a challenge in Old Town, which has a huge population of people that are food insecure, to get food to them during this COVID-19 social distancing. There are kids who won't be able to get the meals at school that they were going to be getting. So how can we turn that challenge into something that we can do in our club to motivate our club to help? And all of the resources there, the resources page that I gave you, a lot of these are on there. Some of them you have to log into My Rotary in order to get to, and some of them are directly in the document, linked to the document so that you don't have to do that. If you have not already, make sure you get your My Rotary account up and active, no matter what position you're in. If you're in this meeting, you need to have an active My Rotary account. You can reach out to your AG for that. And if you're an AG and you don't know how to do that, reach out to us for that. I do believe, no, I don't think, did I put instructions on there for doing an account? If not, I will add it. Be aware that resource page I created is a living document. So we will be going in there and adding things to it as we find cool resources that will be helpful for you. The first thing I'm going to be adding to it is a survey, because I realized I did not do a digital survey in my haste to get this pulled together for today. And having so many people here, I would really love your feedback on what you thought of this event. Telling your Rotary story. That's Carrie Jones has been the RI public relations coordinator for a few years, and she is a fantastic resource at telling your story. Don't keep Rotary a secret. Get it out there. Make sure that you're getting in the news. If you have a local newspaper, there's nothing better than getting the story out about Rotary in that. Make sure you have your website up to date and the stories on there of all the things you're doing. Make sure your Facebook page is active and that you're posting things on there as well. Tell your story. Tell what you're doing. That's the best way to get new members and to make people proud of what they're doing in your club. Whew. And so that brings us to the end. I am going to unmute mics so that people can talk if they'd like to, or allow you to unmute your mic. I'm not going to do it for you. I see we have the chat just popped up. There's another question there. Then what we'd like to do is in your agenda, I saw that some of you already filled out the doodle poll for the next meetings. I'd like to, for us, the Sunday night, Monday nights work really well. And we figured we could do another couple hour sessions, you know, a few couple hour sessions to get that done. I really would like the next session to focus on all the things that Joelle needs to talk about, including, Joelle, what I did not put in right in there, but the your district governor's citation. So those things, that would be fabulous to talk about the next time as well. We're going to do the strategic planning and action plan, which are going to really, really help you in your year. The more you can get done before you take office, the better it's going to be. You're going to be so prepared, and it's going to really, really help you going forward. So I am, you know, please make every effort to attend the next meeting. We really appreciate you coming today, and I will open it up to anybody who wants to ask questions or comments or anything else. Click on the red mic at the bottom of your picture to open your mic and speak, or put a comment in the chat.
Karina, since everybody's so shy, I just thought that I would open it up by just saying that thank you for putting this together on such short notice. I know it hasn't been easy for your training team because there are some challenges with all of us trying to stay at home as much as we can. But great job for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one question that just came up. I think it's pretty important for everybody to kind of maybe have just a second to discuss is anybody suspending their meetings in the short term, or are there any alternative options being presented to your clubs? We have a couple comments right now in the chat room, but I think it'd be great if anybody wanted to share if they've had a strategic plan, if they've talked about it with their club members or their board members, and how they want to go forward for the next couple of weeks.
Clyde, do you want to chime in on that? We talked a little bit about it before the meeting started. The red mic.
Karina, can you unmute everybody?
Yeah, I can unmute everybody, but that might cause, oh, he did it.
Yeah. We actually we suspended ours till April.
Whoop, he just froze. Oh, sorry, Clyde, we can't hear you.
In the comments, he put in a note saying that Ellsworth has for the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he also, this was his first time using Zoom and is considering using Zoom for his meetings, for their club meetings. And just so you all know, it is a free tool. And you can, I can't remember what the number of participants is for free, but I think it's enough to do club meetings for virtually, for most clubs in the district, if not all.
Mm-hmm.
One question that did come up is if we're doing virtual meetings, how are we going to do for tracking purposes on attendance? And is there, assuming that we still need to report something on a weekly basis for those purposes?
Well, if meetings are canceled, you know, clubs have the ability to cancel meetings, so there's no need of any reporting during those weeks that you are suspending meetings. You know, we've had here in Farmington, it seems that every snow day has been a Thursday and a Thursday morning, and our meeting or not meeting is regulated by what the school districts do. If the local school districts are either delayed or canceled, so is our meeting. So we've had that happen quite a few times this year, and you just don't have a meeting, and there's no recording of attendance needed.
Anybody else? Any questions, comments?
If I can make just a suggestion, if you have time, since we are in quarantine, go to the Learning Center on My Rotary, get some course on your membership and foundation. Try to go around your year on those. There's nicest course, easy to follow. It's like an hour to do one. So, and make sure that all your officers are entered in My Rotary and our Club Central. That's pretty helpful for us as the district leaders to contact you and get the message out. So,
I like your background, Joel.
yeah,
He's been playing with Zoom.
We did have one question that comes up regarding the doodle poll, if that's being sent out through individual emails or through Club Runner. And I think that is part of that discussion. Please make sure that you have the correct emails listed through Club Runner. One of the things that we use through the district to communicate to everybody in the district is Club Runner, the website. And so if you have an old email address or you haven't been into there to update, please do so. And
When he says enter it in Club Runner, he means make sure it's entered at the district website. Club Runner is the content management software that the district uses for its website. If you have Club Runner in your club, for your club, enter it there. Don't worry about the district website. It will automatically upload. But if you do not, Belfast, I know, is one. You need to go in and actually enter it at the district website, and you all have the ability to do that. And yeah, this is, please reach out to your AGs for help with that. If they need help, reach out to this training team, because this is how we are communicating, and we've missed some folks because we didn't have all of the addresses entered.
Well,
So, but I'm really glad to see the attendance.
but another issue involved with that, Karina, that the training team is aware of, there was at least one member that I know of whose profile within Club Runner was not allowing for district emails to come to them. So if you are not getting district emails and you're wondering why, then check your personal profile and make sure that you have not opted out of district email.
In your privacy settings, you can toggle that on and off, and some of you have it off. Yeah.
And if I could just add to that, because we had recently, as everyone knows, an important email regarding the cancellation of pets. So when that email was sent out in the district, there were over 100 members who did not receive that email.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not only important to put your email and all of your contact information in the Club Runner or through the district site, but if you change your email. So I receive emails, a few times a year with people saying, oh, I'm retiring, I'm changing my email. Well, that's really not the district's responsibility. Please note, it's each club member's responsibility to do that. So little things like that you don't often think of when you are making a change. It's so important to change that in there. You're not going to receive those very, very important notices.
I do have one question that just came through. Has anybody here attended a virtual club meeting or a regular club meeting via Zoom? If so, what did you like or dislike about it? And was there a speaker or presenter in addition to the club president? I'll talk a little bit about. I've actually attended, like I said, e-club meetings online where they've actually had a president opening up the meetings. They actually had the ability to do happy and sad dollars if they wanted to. But they did have a presenter, and the presenter took over and was doing very similar to what Karina did earlier. If it's a PowerPoint presentation, they're able to share their PowerPoint presentation right using the Zoom tool. So it actually worked out pretty well. It's the comfort of your office or your home, and you still get a lot of valuable information that way.
We actually ran a Zoom meeting, and I was able to face the camera at the speaker. So it's not good for a whole room or anything like that. You can, just like this, it's one person. And we recorded the speaker, because those little webcams actually have a microphone too. And you can record them that way, but you can broadcast them that way. And we did that in an attempt to get our snowbirds to get to come to a meeting. But again, it takes somebody with the knowledge and the ability to do it, to try it, but it works. Did I mention it's free?
Karina, would it be possible for you to send some information, maybe the link for those that have never tried Zoom before?
It's in the email, all of their resources for Zoom.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yep, they have a learning center, and they have 1-minute videos on all the things to how to manage Zoom.
We have another question that just come through, and probably go to our district governor, Suzanne. What steps are being taken to evaluate whether to hold our district conference or not? Is there a decide by date?
Yes. There will actually be an announcement coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning. We have an emergency Zoom meeting this evening.
Okay. And then one other point that was just brought up, the Ellsworth Club are having their speakers, and it's being done through FaceTime. So they're actually having an international project for polio and water presentation, and it's going to be on through FaceTime, it looks like. That's with the Ellsworth Club.
How do you do FaceTime if you don't have a Mac?
I just read the questions.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I got a lot of reverb.
That's all right.
Yours. My husband's sitting next to me. Hang on. Oh, Jesus, dogs. So, sorry, guys. So what we did was, if you have somebody with a Mac or a iPhone, you can hook them right in and put them through your projector and just project that person, and they have it could be, what's that other one that everybody does?
Go to meeting?
Where you can talk. You could do it on Facebook. You could do it with any of those.
Skype?
Elias just sat up on the screen. He addressed everybody, and you can have conversations going back and forth, because Elias he's a Rotarian. He lives in York, and every year he takes a group and they go to India and they do polio and water projects in India. And so he came on and, he had a slideshow, and it was perfect.
So you were still all in a group in the room? Hello? Were you still in a group in the room watching?
Yes, we were all still in the room watching it as a group.
Yeah.
And he was
Okay.
on the screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I had at this time on the chat. So if there's anybody else that has anything they want to put in.
I just want to really, I'm really impressed with everybody's ability to log in. We had 38 participants. And I know for a lot of you, this was your first time. And again, you know, it's kind of trial by fire with what's going on and are having to do this. But I am really proud that you were all able to be here because, again, we're getting pushed out of our comfort zone for sure. And by the same token, your being here is a huge step in making your year great for your club. So thank you so much for working through any technology fear on top of all the other stressors we have recently and showing up.
Thank you, Karina. And Robin. It's been fun to see everybody's pets join in.
Yeah.
That's why it's called pets, Doug said.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the chats and trying to listen at the same time.
And the other benefit, as Sandy demonstrated earlier, with Zoom, pants are optional.
Are we still
What do you mean
recording?
by that? Karina?
Yes, we're still recording.
Why is your face red, Karina?
Don't touch your face.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm telling you, I just need to like stay away from everybody.
Joelle, do you have anything that you would like to share at the end here?
Just want to say, stay safe. First thing, think of your members. Make sure that you don't do gathering for nothing. We don't need to do that. We got technology on our side, so just stay safe for a few weeks, and it will resolve by yourself. So take care of yourself. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, there are some questions in there about technology. We can definitely do more technology training, absolutely. So if you know people who need it, if you know somebody who tried to get here and couldn't, please refer them to us. And if you have ideas for other training, I will put our email addresses in that resources page. So keep looking back at that resources page. There's a link to what Joelle was talking about. There's a link directly to Rotary Learn where all the videos are available. I would, as I said before, I will put out a poll, and I think a survey, and I'm going to ask the kinds of topics that you guys want to hear about. If technology is one of them, try to be as specific as possible, and hopefully we will see you all at the next meeting. And again, between now and then, if there's somebody who needs help with the technology, please reach out. I'm going to go in right now and add our email addresses to that resources page so that you only have to look in one place. Hey, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming, and stay safe.
Bye, everyone.